February 1st, we woke up to a living nightmare.
Is this really happening? We always had an inkling that the military was upset with the results, but we didn't really think that they would go that far.
This all began with the national elections in November for Myanmar. And in the national elections, the ruling civilian party, they won. That meant that they would get considerable power and authority in shaping the direction of the country that's going to be going forward. And obviously, the military was not happy about that.
Highly concerning too, because they're blatantly disrespecting our rights, our votes, and they're claiming election fraud without being able to provide actual evidence for election fraud.
This happened because the Burmese constitution that this so-called democracy was actually written by the military in a previous time. So they made it so that they would be able to maintain their power through the constitution. For example, they are always guaranteed 25% of the seats in parliament, and they can also run their own members for the parliament.
And then they have illegally detained our elected president and our state councilor, Aung San Suu Kyi. We still don't know where they are when they're getting out. They have illegally banned internet access. So we were disconnected from the world for a whole day and a half.
And when that happened, I was unable to reach my parents for a good 2 days. And I was unable to contact them. I was very anxious about what was happening in Myanmar. It was very tense for me. When the internet was back on, I was able to text them through Facebook and also to call them. But then the military government decided to ban Facebook and a bunch of other social media apps.
I called my mom. She called me back later at night and she was crying because she was like, I didn't think it was real. I thought it was just rumors. And she was hysterically crying. It was my mom, I would say she's a pretty tough person, but it always hits different when you see your parents cry.
When it was clear that the military government did not want to give back the power to the leaders chosen by the people, the civilian party urged everyone to protest peacefully and to rise up against the military coup.
A few days ago, my friends and I went out protesting as well. And right now, my parents are not letting me go anymore because there could be violence at any time, So I just feel super powerless. My friends have been saying the same. We all just feel super anxious every day. We wake up to more bad news every morning. It feels, for us right now, it feels like a repeat of history, but I'm hopeful this time because our Generation Z, has been very different in the way we've been handling protests. A lot of Gen Z were holding signs written in English, and a lot of them were witty. So our main goal is to have international communities recognize us, relate to us.
Both of my parents had to leave college because of the previous student uprising in 1988. And so they feel very strongly about this, and they've been going to protest. They live in the Bay Area, so they've been going to protest there to really express their voices, and they've been joined by a lot of other people as well.
What I'm hoping for is that, if this doesn't go out to war and this can be ended peacefully, but in a way where it's monitored by other international communities. I think that's what Burma really needs.
I think this just shows how fragile democracy is. And, if you don't have institutions to protect you, if you don't have an army that supports the will of the people, then democracy is very challenging indeed.
When I go out onto my rooftop and my whole family starts banging pots and pans and we hear everyone else doing the same, it makes me feel less hopeless. It shows a lot of solidarity, and I feel even though this could be a very long fight and it might be a losing game perhaps, but our sentiment has been the same for generations and it will remain the same.